TV presents Monica Pearson, One-on-One.
The mystery crime thriller Glass Onion, a knives-out mystery, will keep you guessing as world-famous detective Benoit Blanc peels back the layers of the mystery surrounding a tech billionaire and his friends. And I got a chance to peel back the layers when singer-actress Janelle Monáe, who calls Atlanta home, and the movie's writer, producer, and director, Rian Johnson, dropped by Peachtree TV to talk about the film. During the course of my one-on-one conversation with them, they were surprised to learn a lot about each other. The movie is a whodunit, a murder mystery set on a Greek island owned by a tech billionaire, Miles Braun, played by Edward Norton. He literally lives in a house with a glass onion-shaped dome roof. The twists and turns and clues keep you guessing throughout the film, just as director Rian Johnson planned. What caused you to write this storyline?
Well, this all starts with my love of Agatha Christie. I grew up loving mysteries, and I grew up loving whodunit mysteries, and also the kind of big, fun, all-star cast mysteries I used to watch when I was a kid. And both of these movies, Knives Out and now Glass Onion, this one that Janelle's in, it's an attempt to kind of get back to that, you know.
But you know, when I saw the title, Glass Onion, two things immediately came to mind. My mother always said people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
It's good advice.
And then the second was, you know, which I think is pretty funny, with onions, they peel apart layer by layer, but if you cut it the wrong way, the next thing you know, you're cracked.
Well, this should be in the movie. This should be in the. I should have given this to Benoit Blanc to say.
Exactly.
I know. I'm calling you when I'm writing next time.
But no, the thought was, why the name? But really, how did you come up with the name Glass Onion, and why? Because yes, the house has this onion, but there's got to be more to it than that.
There's a little bit more to it. It's also the name of one of my favorite Beatles songs. So for me, I love naming these movies after songs that I love, so far at least. So you're right, it's a metaphor because it's densely layered, but it's made of glass. You can also see right through it, which has something to do with the mystery in the movie, but it's also a fantastic Beatles song.
Well, why did you pick Janelle Monáe to play this character? And because I don't want to give anything away, so I have to be careful. Play a character who really is two people.
She's got multiple sides to her in the movie. She absolutely does. I mean, there are a million reasons that why wouldn't I feel so incredibly lucky.
Can you spot the other thing? The real thing this group has in common?
Andy, come on.
Oh, Lionel. Everybody knows who Lionel works for. That's no secret. And we know who bankrolled Claire's campaign. But when nobody would touch Bertie with a 10-foot pole because she went on Oprah and compared herself to Harriet Tubman in spirit.
So Janelle is a storyteller, and through her having been a fan of her music and a fan of her work on the screen, but hugely through her just seeing with her albums how she's telling stories, she's creating characters. She has a storyteller's mind, a storyteller's spirit, and that's what I was looking with this part. It's a very complicated part in the murder mystery. I needed a storyteller to be a collaborator with me.
It was just an honor and a dream to be a part of this ensemble, be a part of this film that takes us on these wild, crazy rides. I mean, when I read it, I was like, okay, this is going to be one of the biggest challenges in terms of roles I've done in the best possible way, because of the layered character, the peeling back of the layers that you have to do on Andy. You know, she's super mysterious. She's also this leader. She's this gatherer, complicated past with the rest of the characters. All of these things. So I would say, you know what? Actually, to tell you the truth, I think in terms of leadership, perhaps we have some things in common. I mean, you know, being in the entertainment industry, you know, having to strongly believe in your ideas and be your own champion at a lot of times when people don't believe in what it is you're doing, or sometimes people can be dismissive because of what you look like or who you are, or you know, all of those things. I think Andy we intersect on, because she is in an industry where she is the minority and the majority. She does have to get people to believe in her ideas, and she has to protect her ideas as well. So there's some things there, but I think for the most part, I got an opportunity to just explore and learn different things about me as an actor, and do the comedic stuff, the deep emotional dramatic scenes, action. I got a chance to really play with this role and like go to new places, as an actor.
While watching the movie, one thing hit me very clearly is that I can see you in the movie, in the sense that I can see your thought pattern, but I also can see how you two, in some ways, you directed her, but in some ways she directed you.
Absolutely. 100%.
No,
100%.
Listen, this is the captain of the ship here.
No, but
What'd you learn from him? Because you want to be a director.
Ooh, I do. Look at you doing your work. What? I absolutely do desire to direct. And I think what I learned most about him is just, you can be talented, you can be creative, and you can redefine what power looks like. Like it doesn't always look, chaotic, or in order to get the best out of your artist, you don't have to lead with a stressful set. We must do. Like, you can be prepared like Ryan, be calm. I mean, I never saw this guy lose his cool. And things happen. Like, it's a production. Things happen. We're in the middle of COVID trying to film this, and he always set the tone for us to come in and play, have a good time, like family vibes. And that's what I love. I want to make, when I do start directing, make all of my actors feel how Rian Johnson made me feel working on this film.
So, to break the tension sometime, did you pull out your banjo and do some folk singing? Did you and Janelle do a duet?
Oh my God.
I would never. I play banjo a little bit.
Why
yeah.
not?
And he sings.
My spot here. Oh my goodness.
What? How
Oh,
don't
no.
I know? How?
You're,
Oh my God.
You
Okay.
never told her?
of course
Now
not.
I'm
Terrible
making
at
him do this. Thank you so much.
Oh God.
I learned one other thing about the two of you that I found fascinating. You loved Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and you said she was an influence. You went to see The Wizard of Oz,
That's right.
and he was terrified.
That was like one of the my earliest memories is watching like The Wizard of Oz with my family.
Judy
I think
Garland.
so. Judy Garland. Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
my God.
God
Let's
rest.
see, yeah.
I mean, Judy Garland is absolutely like one of my biggest inspirations, musically, acting-wise, just her dreaminess. I just love how she just comes in her eyes, and just how she talks, and just her sass and her classic just vibe. I think that she's somebody who, when I decided that I wanted to act and I wanted to sing like that, I really studied a lot, and not a lot of people know that. But I mean, I am from Kansas, so they always are like, The Wizard of Oz, which I love, because I love her.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
So you were terrified of The
Oh
Wizard of
my
Oz?
gosh. Is it the monkeys? The flying monkey scene? Oh
Wait,
my
you talking
God.
about The Wiz?
Talking about the Wizard, but not Wizard of Oz. No,
Wait,
no.
the Wiz- they
yeah.
have-
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
Wizard of
witch
Oz?
sends all.
Oh my God!
And
What
all
am
the
I
flying
thinking
monkeys.
about? I'm thinking
oh,
about
my
The Wiz.
pretties.
That's
Oh, my
right.
But
God,
then,
yeah,
did you
they
take
do.
that terror for
Yeah.
later on
Oh, yeah.
to use in some of your
It all,
films?
it all goes into the soup. You pour it all
Yeah.
into the soup and you stir it up and you cook it. Yeah, absolutely.
Next, the message in the movie and who might be the real-life tech billionaire who inspired the character Miles Braun.
It's not. You're going to try to get me in trouble. Trying to get me busted.
Because tonight, in this very room, a murder will be committed. My murder. You will have to closely observe the crime. Consider what you know about each other. Know that across the island, I've hidden clues. Some may be helpful, some may misdirect. That's for you to determine. But if anyone can name the killer, tell me how they achieved the murder, and most importantly, what was the motive? That person wins our game.
So what's the message in the movie?
Well, the message is kind of, we worked really hard to kind of, bake something about society into this really light, delightful, entertaining souffle. So I'm hesitant to just come out and say, talk. But at the same time, I will say this: it's one really fun thing about this genre, about whodunit mysteries. You're creating a cast of characters, of suspects, and there's a power structure within that group of suspects. And the person at the top, everyone wants to bump off. And you can see by creating it, you're kind of creating a little microcosm of society. And so I think these movies are specifically good in an entertaining framework of engaging with society and reflecting it back on ourselves. And
So is it Elon Musk?
I started. You're going to try to get me in trouble, trying to get me busted. I think it's more about all of them, I think. It's not that fun just making fun of one person. To me, looking at the whole group, their place in society, our relationship to those folks, and kind of what we want them to be, that to me feels a lot more interesting.
So the question I also had is about Daniel Craig. How did you get him, literally, the two of you worked together, to get rid of, in my mind and everybody else's mind, hey, that's James Bond?
I have occasionally put on the dog in my life, but this is stretching my stride-taking abilities.
You're doing great. I'm Andy.
That is very genial of you. I'm Benoit.
You got a flat tire there.
Thank you.
I mean, Daniel's one of the most talented actors in that. That's the thing, his range, right? I mean, you play.
Seeing him go from like off screen, like his British accent to that Southern Benoit Blanc, like it was masterful. It was masterful. I was just like two different people, you know what I mean? And I just have to say thank you to Daniel too, because this is essentially like he and Ryan's baby, and for him to have me on board and trust me with his role is like no small thing at all. He's such a gentleman too, was always just giving, and there were moments where, it would be my coverage and he would stay that extra few minutes to make sure, that I had him there so that I could have what I needed. And I think that just speaks to just how much of a team player he is, and just, yeah.
There's an element of buddy movie in it too. You guys have a great relationship in the movie, and that's you guys, your chemistry. You played so well off each other. Yeah,
They really did.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from the other actors?
And in addition to Daniel, other actors, talk about this cast, like Edward Norton, who I had actually done Saturday Night Live with. He was hosting, and perfect for this role. Like the casting, all of it to me was so exciting. Just to be like going to Greece, and you get an opportunity to work with Daniel and Edward and Kate Hudson and Catherine Hahn and Leslie Odom Jr. And, I came in as a student, honestly. Like I was prepared with my role, and, a little nerves here and there, because, you grew up watching a lot of these folks do these iconic roles in movies. So you just, you want to make sure that you have your stuff together, but everybody was just so warm. Everybody wanted to do the best thing for the script. We all loved what was on the page. We wanted to honor what Ryan had written.
So I have to ask you, because most people knew you first as a singer. Are you a singer who acts or an actress who sings?
I'm a time traveler that likes to tell stories.
It's true.
That is where I was going next.
Were you?
Time traveling is also of interest to you.
I have dabbled in time travel before.
What is the fascination with that?
Ooh, well, first of all, you must be talking about Looper, because that is how I came into Ryan's work. I saw it and I was like, who is this person who understands time travel in the same way that I do? I must know him. If I ever get an opportunity to work with him, I don't care if it's on a 3-second car commercial. It's a yes. I was really, really like that film inspired me as a writer and as a future director, and I was like, I wanted to start. It was just everything, and I think just you did something innovative though, and I had never seen like your past self coming to have to bounty hunt your future self. Like it was just, I had never even considered that, and I just thought it was such a unique idea. But what really sparked you when you were writing that film.
I mean, I think, and it's a part of, I think, what you use science fiction for is to get at human emotions and situations. And so older man, younger man, really it's a father-son story. But by making them, using this sci-fi to make them literally the same person because of time travel, suddenly the whole thing is elevated and it's brought up to another level, but you're getting to that basic thing that we can all actually relate to just in a really heightened way, I think.
Coming up next, The Glass Onion was a blockbuster hit in the theaters, so why only a week on the big screen? Then, the Wakanda Forever film honors the late Chadwick Boseman. 2 local actors were on the set for the funeral of the Black Panther. They open up about the emotional scene. When this was in the theaters, it was gangbusters. I think some 600 theaters. Nobody knows exactly how much money it made, but it made a lot. How do you make that transition to Netflix, and why so quickly?
Well, we have been working with Netflix. They've been fantastic partners, and I mean, right now it's a crazy time in terms of theatrical streaming. Everyone's trying to figure it out. Netflix is trying to figure out their deal. We let them know being in theaters was really important to us, and so they did this special week where they put a lot of promotion into it, and they worked with the big theater chains for the first time, and I was really grateful for that. I'm hoping down the line we can sneak back into more theaters because I love that experience. But I'll tell you though, I mean, the movies that kind of inspired this, like remembering when I was a kid watching Death on the Nile or Murder on the Orient Express, honestly, my memories of those are sitting around the TV with my family watching them. I think that this movie is going to translate so well to watching it with your family, to watching it with your friends. I also am excited because I think it's a very rewatchable movie. We play very fair. There's a lot of details in it. So I'm excited for people to get a hold of it at home and actually start picking it apart a little bit. So
watch it 2 times, 3 times. You're gonna know. I've seen this film 7 times, and I still notice things that I find out new things that I did not see, and like the clues are like right there, and I'm like, how the hell did I miss it? I'm in this film.
I'm not Kelly, but I caught like 7 clues going through, and I know there are more.
Yeah, there's so
just
much
sitting
more.
there for the first time.
And I think, like you said, Ryan, too, like you can watch this in a theater, on the couch, in your room. It's one of those experiences, and you can also watch it with your whole family. Like, I can watch this with my nieces, my nephews, my mom has seen it multiple times. My, grandparents. Like, it's one of those rare, in today's movie making, like it just excites you again about having that experience with friends and family. So I love that about it.
So where are you taking him in Atlanta?
Ooh, where should we go? I actually want to take Ryan to go eat some food. There's a place called Negril here. Yes, Jamaican food. I feel like you would like,
good.
Some oxtails, some
pinch of peas
shrimp.
and rice.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
So they have good stuff here. And I mean, if we had more time, I think we're only here for a day.
Yeah.
I would take you where I started my whole career, which is the AUC.
I've heard
Atlanta.
stories about that. Yeah.
Spelman, Morehouse, Clark.
That's right.
I would eat at this place called Busy Bees, which is a soul food restaurant, which is amazing. You know about it. And so next time.
Next time.
And as we were wrapping up and doing social media, another mystery in the movie was solved for me by the director. How did you get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Angela Lansbury, Stephen Sondheim, and Miss LeVon?
Yeah.
How did you get them to do this?
We asked. I have no idea. I thought there's no way we'll ever get these people for this little fun like cameo scene. And next thing I knew, I was on a Zoom with Stephen Sondheim, and I was bringing my laptop over to Angela Lansbury's house, and it was, absolute legends, yeah.
And they both died
Yeah.
last year, so in many ways, this is kind of their last appearance.
I'm so grateful they're in the movie. I'm even more grateful I got a couple of minutes with each of them to tell them what their work meant to me. I mean, they're just heroes.
What did Sondheim's work mean to you?
I grew up as a musical theater kid, So I did musical theater in high school, and
What?
I like,
See, that's the other
that's
thing we
right.
have in
I'm
common.
revealing layers of the onion to
The
you.
onion behind
Yes.
Ryan. Fast.
Yeah, so he was, Sondheim meant the world to me. He also was a big puzzle and game guy. He loved murder mysteries, and of course, Angela Lansbury with Murder, She Wrote. So
I watched that with my grandmother a lot.
Oh yeah.
We love Murder, She Wrote.
I love this movie, and you're right. I need to watch it more than once on Netflix, and I will. The Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, currently is running on Netflix. The movie Black Panther was a blockbuster film. Many wondered if the series would continue after the cancer death of the lead actor Chadwick Boseman. The sequel, Wakanda Forever, is a huge success. Some of the film was shot here in Atlanta using local actors. I went one-on-one with two of them. Both got their roles in what some would call non-traditional ways. Meet Gemini Powell and Travis Love.
The funeral scene was difficult for everybody, but what really hit home is when we first walked on the set, the picture of him that was on the painting that you see in the intro, that was front and center when we stepped on set. So it literally like, you know what I mean? We had been a couple of years removed from the movie and we knew everything had happened, but then to walk back into that environment and see that big mural of his picture up, I think everybody kind of choked up, you know what I mean? And even when we did the funeral scene, it was, you had people on set crying. It was the combination of the actors giving a beautiful, powerful performance, and then the realization that we were really honoring Chadwick in this moment. That for me was one of the most powerful parts of the movie, and beautiful.
It was like we were celebrating him, and it was so beautiful. Like you felt from everyone that had met him, you felt like the sadness, and like it was just so hard for them to film it, but it's also like we were all like celebrating him and how amazing and inspiring that he was. And it was just an honor to even carry his casket, because the Doors were the ones carrying his casket. It was an honor to do that. He has inspired so many people. He's a big inspiration of mine still, and it was a lovely thing to film.
The film began in a somber way, but turned into an action-packed drama. Gemini Powell and Travis T. Love both say it was a blessing to be in the film, especially since they got their roles in non-traditional ways. Social media posts played a big part for Gemini, who says she's been preparing to be a stunt actor since she was a kid. So how would you describe yourself as a little kid?
Energetic. I was flipping around the house all the time, destroying furniture left and right. Like I couldn't sit still at all. My family was sick of me.
So when did they decide to put you in gymnastics?
I was 5 years old when they were like, okay, we've had enough of this bouncing kid. Let's put her in gymnastics. So I was 5 and I went to the little gym. This is Nelville, Georgia. So I thought I was going to go pro as a gymnast, but I had a coach who was emotionally abusive. She would call me names, say things you should not say to people of color. And it was so much for me to put up with that I had to leave the sport I loved. So I had no idea what I was going to do. They were trying to help me. They're like, you should do track and field. I was like, no, I don't like running. They were trying to get me to do basketball or softball or volleyball. I was like, no, this doesn't sound good. So I was scrolling online and I saw a video of a guy doing a flip off a wall. And in my head, I'm like, I used to flip. I could do this. I go outside. I end up with a minor concussion. I land on my head trying the flip that I saw him do. And I'm like on bed rest. I'm like, that was fun. I should start doing it more. And my family was against it, but I was like, no, this is what I'm doing. I've decided now, doing parkour.
But you decided then you needed to go to college because your parents were saying you need to go to college.
So here's what happened. I went to classes for about a good week. And it's a beautiful campus, absolutely gorgeous. That's their fault. It's a gorgeous campus, so I'm seeing structures, like I'm seeing buildings this home, like I just want to climb on that. I'm seeing things I could flip off. So after a week of going to classes, I just stopped. I'd be outside of the lecture class flipping, and the professors would come out, they're like, you didn't even go to class. I was like, no, I forgot. So I was just training.
Then she discovered parkour gyms, started winning parkour competitions, and posting videos on Instagram.
One day I got a message from an account with like no followers. It was like one of those creepy accounts you shouldn't click on, but I did anyway.
When we return, how taking a leap of faith on social media paid off in ways she never could have imagined. Gemini's parkour post on Instagram showed her propelling herself against walls, running and jumping and flipping her body over all kinds of man-made and natural obstacles. It also showed her training. Those posts got her noticed.
One day I got a message from an account with like no followers. It was like one of those creepy accounts you shouldn't click on, but I did anyway. Something in my head was like, just answer it. And it said, I want to send your Instagram to my boss. She is looking for someone to come audition for something. And I was like, he's just asking to send my Instagram. He's not asking for any other information. So yeah, go ahead. So he sent my stuff, and I get another direct message from a coordinator on a different Marvel TV show asking me to come audition to be a stunt double for the main actress.
She auditioned, but her parkour training wasn't enough to get the role.
I've done parkour, but stunts is very different, like fighting and knowing how to like react and sell hits. It's so different. But I went and tried anyway, and they're like, okay, you don't have all the skill sets yet, but thank you for coming. And I was like, at least I tried it. But I did not know what they did. When they saw me, they sent my information to the coordinators for Black Panther because they were like, you know what, she looks great as Adora. We think she would do well. So they sent them my information. They ended up seeing my videos on social media, and they listened to the recommendation and decided to hire me.
The Dora Milajes are the women warriors of Wakanda, and all have shaved heads, like their leader, General Okoye.
It will not change under my watch.
So when I was first asked to come be Adora, they said, are you willing to shave off all your hair? That went over my head. I was like, I don't care. It's like, let me say yes quick so you guys don't change your mind. I was like, yes, I'll come. So on the day when we have to shave our head, we're walking to the trailer. They're like, okay, today's the day. And I just pause. Like, I'm just like, oh, this is happening. And I was so scared because I've always worn like wigs or long hair. Like, I don't like myself with short hair or bald. So I was like terrified because I feel like hair is so much tied to your sense of self. And like, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna look like a guy. I'm gonna look ugly. Like, it was the hardest thing, but having all the other girls there, we all were like, hype each other up, like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna look stunning. And we did it, and it was hard. I went home and I cried every day for like a good week.
Being a Dora Milaje involved more than hair cutting. There was the training.
So we had to learn how to twirl our spears or learn how to fight with our spears to not actually hit people, but like learn how to make it look like you're hitting somebody. Or we had to be outside. We're running around Tyler Perry Studios. We're running with our spears up. We're running passing spears to each other. We're doing martial arts dances. We're doing bunny hops. We're carrying each other from like the parking lot.
So which was the most difficult scene when you were having to be Okoye?
The bridge fight. The bridge fight was the hardest thing. I want to say it took us a couple of months to film that. And you know the hit where like it's like a shoulder hit and she smacks down onto the ground? Do you know that one?
Yes.
Yeah. That was me. That was terrifying. That was the hardest time I've had on set, like doing those kind of moves, because I had to fall, and then I had to fall again, and then I had to also do the fight. And Danai Okoye did a lot of her own stunts as well. Like, we went back and forth. Like, she would do a take, I would do a take, she would do a take. She's really good. But that was definitely the hardest thing, the bridge fight.
So learning to be a stunt actor sounds to me like it's dangerous.
Yes.
You're not scared?
No. I don't know what it is. It's like, I get an adrenaline rush, and it feels like it's amazing. It's like, it's scary, but it's like that type of scary that you want to do. for some reason. It makes no sense, but I love that rush feeling.
So tell me about the first time your parents saw you in the film and your family saw you in the film.
Oh my gosh, they were so excited. Like at first my mom was like, "You're probably not in it that much." I was like, "No." I was like, "Don't." I was on set for 10 months. I was like, "No, I'm in this movie." Like they're like, "There's no way we're gonna see you on the big screen. There's no way." And then they saw me and they're like, "Oh my God, it's you." Like everyone's freaking out and I'm getting like pictures from other family members like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can say it now," because I couldn't say it before. And everyone was just so excited and it was just amazing to see myself on like a movie, a Marvel movie. It was great.
How many times have you seen the movie?
9, 10 times. Seen it about 9 or 10 times now because I keep having to go with different. They're like, "Can you come see it with me? Can you come watch it with me?" And then my mom wants to go see it again. So now we got to go again and see it. Because they're just like, the first time they were too busy looking for me and now they want to actually go back and enjoy the movie. So I've gotten that a lot. So it's been fun.
So has anyone said to you in the family, "You were right, we're proud of you"?
Yeah, they finally said it now. And my mom is so funny. She's like, "I guess putting the dents in my car was worth it." I was like, "See, if I didn't have flipped off your car, I wouldn't have ended up here." So.
He's captain of the Jabari tribe in Wakanda forever. But this Georgia native was a school teacher before Hollywood came calling. How Travis T. Love credits a childhood on the farm as his key to success. And later, the R&B group making a comeback thanks to Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Travis T. Love went from the family farm in Soperton, Georgia, to appearing as Shumpert the Bowman on The Walking Dead, Fred on Vacation Friends, and now Mbele, captain of the Jabari Warriors in the movie Wakanda Forever. How he got into the acting business will surprise you. It did me when we went one-on-one.
So my job background was pretty random, so I thought. Prior to getting into film and television, my first job out of college, I was a counselor for DJJ, Department of Juvenile Justice. And I worked at a YDC, which is a youth detention center. And then after that, that facility closed down. I became a deputy sheriff in my hometown, so I was a policeman for a short period of time. And then after that, I transitioned into education and started to coach and teach. And so at first I was looking back on everything I'd done. I'm like, this is random. You know, I'm like, okay, God, what is this all about? You know what I mean? Because I don't see it. But lo and behold, now I look back and I see that he was giving me different opportunities to gain a whole completely different life experience. I gained a skill set in each one of those jobs that I now can apply to what I'm doing now as an actor. And I just, you know, that's when you just thinking, you be like, you know what, you got it, God. Continue. You know, I'm just a passenger, you know, and that's literally my mindset because I remember how worried I was about the lack of knowledge I had about acting because my degree is in computer science. I went to South Carolina State, played football, and majored in computer science. And in retrospect, I wish I would have been a Henderson Davis player, which is our theater department at State. But I feel like I did exactly what he needed or he intended for me to do prior to getting into this, which is really live the experiences. You know what I mean? Back in 2008, you know, we had the recession. So in education, they were furloughing and cutting teachers left and right. So I actually got laid off from my teaching job. And I figured, well, I don't have a job. There's no reason for me not to try acting because it had always been in the back of my mind as, you know what I mean, a possibility. I would see something on TV and it was never like, oh, I think I can do that or I can do that better. It was more like, I feel like I'm capable of doing that, right? And so I said, okay, I don't have a job. I might as well give it a shot.
His first experience with the movies was as a wardrobe production assistant, a PA. Travis earned the respect of a unit production manager, a UPM, because of his work ethic.
So I was a green PA, but I was the biggest person on set at the time. because when I transitioned into acting, I used to power lift on the side, just, you know, trying to stay in shape. So I was pretty big. But anyway, I saw these special effects guys carrying a tank upstairs. We were filming in this old school on English Avenue. But I remember my dad telling me, all right, when you get out there, don't get caught standing around, because that's how you get sent home, right? So I see these guys carrying a tank, and as a PA, they tell us, you know, don't touch any equipment, don't do anything. But that left me standing around a lot. And so when I saw the guys go up with the tank, 2 of them were carrying it. So I grabbed one and put it on my shoulder and went up behind them. That caught the attention of the UPM, whose job is to make sure everybody is doing their job. And if they're not, you know what I mean? So he saw one guy doing the job that 2 were doing. And he came up and he asked me, he said, what do you want to be in this business, Travis? And I'm green, don't know what a UPM is. And I said, I'm going to be an actor, Tom. And he looks, and he kind of smirked and he said, okay. And he went on about his business. And then 2.5 years later, we crossed paths again on The Walking Dead. And now he's seen me come from a green PA to a union member. And he knew my aspirations to act. And so I'm working in the props department. We have the script, and I'm literally prepping the weapons for this new character that's gonna be in the series.
The Bowman.
The Bowman. Lo and behold, just to show you how God works, I ended up prepping my own weapons that I later, you know what I mean? And I had no idea at the time that I was gonna be playing that role, but that's the role that I ended up with. That literally gave me my start, and it was a start, if I'm being honest, I wasn't prepared for at the time, because like I said, you got to think 2 years prior, I'm in a schoolroom, you know, classroom teaching students, and now I'm on television. And not only on television, most people, the thing is, I was working alongside other actors who had been acting for 10, 15, 20 years, and this was their big break. You know what I mean? And I'm starting my career on the #1 television show in the world. So, you know, like I said, I truly believe my steps were ordered from the beginning. You know, like I said, just in me depending on God to lead me to where He has for me to go. It was amazing, because being so prayerful about it beforehand, I was very skeptical. I grew up in a very small town, like I said, Truman County, Soperton, Georgia, where we grew up is known as Love Quarters. And there was no one else that had done that. So it was not like I could say, oh yeah, I can do that like he did. You know what I mean? A lot of times we get inspiration to pursue things because we know of someone else who has done it. And I thought I was crazy for talking about, you know what I mean, pursuing acting, honestly, because it was just unheard of. The closest thing I had to someone doing something like that is my brother. My brother, Arthur Love. We played college football together. We were roommates from birth all the way through college. And his senior year, he got drafted by the New England Patriots. And his rookie year, which was also the year Tom Brady took over for the Patriots, they won a Super Bowl. So that, in a sense, I'm like, okay, my brother won a Super Bowl. Maybe I could be an actor. You know what I mean? That was kind of a bit of motivation. But as far as another person that had went the same path, there wasn't one. So I was very skeptical and very prayerful in advance, because I knew that my desire may not be what God's will is for my life. You know, a lot of times we will get it a little confused in that we ask for what we want, not acknowledging what His purpose may be for us. So a lot of times we pray for things that we want to happen, but we don't pray in advance that, okay, God, if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with that too. And that's my confirmation that you said no. You know what I mean? And so that's my thing. That was what my mindset was going into it.
He felt the same way about trying out for the first Black Panther movie. He auditioned for the role of Lord M'Baku, head of the Jabari tribe. He didn't get it and went back to work as a grip at Tyler Perry Studios. But then he got a call from a buddy working on the film.
I'm literally at Tyler Perry. I'm carrying C-stands and everything, and my phone is ringing. I'm like, what's going on? You know, so I grabbed the phone. I got a C-stand in my hand. I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm at work, bro. What's up? He's like, you want to be in Black Panther? I'm like, Taraja, I'm at work. I don't have time to play. What's up? He says, hey, you remember those pictures you did for Muscle and Fitness magazine? I was like, yeah, what's up? He said, send me those pictures. I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm like, all right, cool. So I literally go through my phone, boom, 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 send the pictures, and go back to work. 10 minutes later, Taraji calls me. He's like, hey, man, they want you to come to the studio for a fitting. They want you to be in Black Panther. I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, just come. So I hung up the phone, put the C-stand down. I told my boss, hey, I gotta go. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'll tell you later. So I went, and that was literally how I got in part one. The amazing thing, here's the amazing thing. I had no idea in what capacity I would be working on the show. Lo and behold, I end up a Jabari warrior, which is the tribe of M'Baku, which was the role I auditioned for, you know what I mean? So that just
God
goes.
has a sense of humor.
Listen, I'm telling you. So after part one is done, everybody's like, so I hear they're doing part two. Are you gonna be? I'm like, listen, dude, if I knew, I would tell you, but they don't tell us, you know what I mean? I have no idea. I'm like, I only hope that I'm lucky enough to be in part two. So not only did they call me back for part two, but Ryan Coogler decided to give my character a name. And I went from just a Jabari tribesman to Mbele, you know, captain of the Jabari tribe.
So what does it take to be a Jabari warrior? Up next, the rigorous training that goes on behind the scenes and how it earned him a Screen Actors Guild Award. Then, Confunction celebrates 50 years in R&B with honors and a new album.
So for Black Panther, we went through some rigorous training. Andy Gill was the stunt coordinator. Awesome guy. He was stunt coordinator for 1 and 2. And what would happen is we used the bow staff as Jabari warriors. So we would literally choreograph all these, we call them dance moves, if you will, but they were like fight sequences where we were, you know, doing different moves and gestures with the bow staff as if we were fighting, you know, and you'd have a cadence. You'd have each fight sequence had a number. So you go 1 through 6, you know, you would start with 1, you know, day 1, they teach us, all right, this is sequence number 1. Then the next week, this is number 2, this is number 3, so before it's all over, you have a whole set of skills that you've learned through practice. And then on the day, when it's time to film, they just literally say, all right, you two over here, you're gonna do 2 and 3. You two over here are gonna do 1 and 5. You two over here are gonna do 4 and 6. And we know the numbers in the sequence, right? So when they say action, it works together beautifully because everybody's moving in unison and it looks like we're really going at it, but we're literally just doing the fight sequences. You know what I mean?
Dance.
You're right, doing the dance. And that's what it is. It translates into a beautiful dance. And we actually won a SAG award for our stunt performance in part 1, which was amazing. That was my first award, you know what I mean, as an actor. So yeah, it's a lot.
But he's also planning for the future. There's his production company, Love Quarters, named after the land his family lives on and has owned since after the Civil War. He plans to tell the family story.
Yeah, my dream would really be to shed some light on Love Quarters and how I grew up there. You know what I mean? And if I honestly, if that would come to pass, I'm like, you know what, I'm good. Whatever happens, I don't need no award. I don't need anything to tell that story. You know what I mean? That's my ultimate goal because as an actor, that's what we do. We are storytellers, you know what I mean? And so many people have to make up stories to tell, right? I could literally go back from my childhood all the way up to now, tell that story, and I don't have to make up anything. You know what I mean? Because from that tobacco field where I was walking behind and hand planting tobacco, I am now in Mbele in Wakanda forever. So I would love to tell that story.
And there is the company, Voila Effects, founded with 3 friends. That company already has provided special effects for commercials and for TV shows like The Wonder Years. So you're more than an actor.
Oh, most certainly. And I think I get that from my father, who is really the first businessman that I saw. And I say that because as a kid, I knew him as a farmer first. He also was a brick mason, and he also became a restaurant owner. He opened up his own barbecue restaurant. Seeing him at a young age get up every day and go to work. That trickled down to me and my brother and all of my siblings, you know. So the one thing that I'll never do is just sit home when work is to be done. And if there is not work in one area, I'll find the area where there is work. So that's what I do.
Standing the test of time. How artists like Bruno Mars are following in the footsteps of R&B group Confunction. That's coming up next. When Silk Sonic hit the charts with the song Love's Train, anybody over the age of 50 knew that new song was an old song, first done by the group Confunction. I went one-on-one with 3 of the founding members of Confunction to learn how they have lasted so long. How can Silk Sonic be doing the Confunction song?
You nailed it.
How could they be doing it?
You nailed it. I mean, that is the super duper $1 million question. Everybody, man, did they ask you guys first? You guys, man, y'all need to get after them for doing that. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. You just don't realize, man. Like Dolly Parton say, Whitney Houston made me a rich woman. No, we loved it. We loved it. They did a fantastic job. I mean, we got that. My daughter texted me. I looked at the text, lost my mind. Sent it to Felton. Have you seen this? Felton went online and looked on Valentine's Day this year, 2022, which is the 40th anniversary of Love Train. They dropped Love Train.
Have you all met them yet?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the meeting like?
We had a chance to fly out to Las Vegas with specific intent to thank them in person. So we went to their concert in Las Vegas, and they had us waiting in a room, waiting for them to come in. And we were very excited. We were anxious to meet them. They burst into the room, and Bruno Mars, the first thing he did was walk to the center of the room, drop to his knees, and start singing. Doing his best Michael Cooper imitation.
He's imitating. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, get up off of that. What's wrong with you? And it was like we've been knowing each other for 30 years. Yeah. They were so down and they were so welcoming. They were so humble. Anderson with that wig standing there, oh my God, it's Confunction, you know. You're like, I'm in the room with Bruno Mars and y'all talking about, oh my God, it's Confunction. Like, it was really great, really, really great.
Why do you think your music has stood the test of time and that is just as popular and being covered by this young group as the rest of us who grew up with it, literally?
I think we spent time in the studio. I think what people are feeling from us and groups like SOS Band and Cameo and Bar-Kays, they're feeling that hour after hour grueling and that feeling and that, well, in Memphis, we lived in Memphis a long time, and one thing we came away from Memphis with is you got to put the feel on, put the feel, that's to say, the feel on tape. And people feel that analog, that feel that over and over again, grinding to get it right. In the case of Love Train, they feel the pain on the vocal and, and I think that's what keeps the music flowing, is that people can feel what you do. And then you come to town and really give it to them all out. You leave it on stage, leave it out there. And you do that year after year after year, and people stick with you.
Well, one of the things I saw in a video was Reverend Fuller actually saying a prayer at a concert. How did that happen, and how often do you do it, and why do you do it?
Well, let's go with the why first, because a lot of people that come to concerts don't go to church. So it might be the first time I would get to pray for them, bless their hearts, let them know that Jesus is real and that He's protected us for over 50 years. He can do the same for y'all. Y'all go to church out there sometime. Let the Lord know you respect Him and you love Him and you need Him. And how often do we do it? Pretty regularly. Not all the time, but yeah, it happens. Well, I don't think it happens enough, but it happens.
I knew you were going to say that.
I watched you all dancing. Now, the reality is you cannot be moving like that every day. So how are you all able to put that energy into your performance at the age of 70?
There's a drug at every single performance. That particular drug is called adrenaline, which does some wonderful things for the body. And that energy that once we get on stage, that feeling from the crowd, that mutual love affair that we have going between us and our audience, that's what provides my energy.
We also have a way that we come on stage, which reduces us to children. Because we have an intro of a giant steam engine, you know, and when that whistle blows, it just sends chills through my heart. It's the love train, and when it blows, and then the big voice comes out, "Excuse me, may I have your attention?" All of us, we're all 25. At that moment, we're 25. There's no more aches, there's no more arthritis, there's nothing. All you want to do is get out there and make them smile. And like my drummer, Aaron says, I just want to make them dance.
And for making them dance for almost 53 years, Felton and Michael received honorary doctorates from the Christian Bible Institute and the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Joe Biden. Confunction has had fun. Confunction has a new album coming out this spring, and they're going to turn the tables on Silk Sonic by covering one of their songs. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll join me next month for another episode of Monica Pearson One-on-One. Good night.